In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 7 steps that you need to take if you want to start a 5,000 capacity layer farm. Of course, the first thing on your plate should be acquiring the land, and that would mean that you need to get it in a suitable location. Yeah, a suitable location would in most cases mean that you are a little bit far from civilization. It should definitely not be a residential area. You know, that scale of farming, having 5,000 birds laying for you on a daily basis, they are going to be putting out so much waste that you may not be able to accommodate in a residential area. So that's the first thing on the plate. You should secure a land big enough to accommodate that kind of farm. A lot of people make costly mistakes when it comes to the area of housing. Is it in the direction of the house? Is it in the height of the house? Is it in how solid the house is? These are areas where you might need to consult an expert, and you'll be able to save yourself a lot of cost, because if you do it wrongly, you might have to spend a lot of money trying to correct, and in many cases you cannot even correct some things. Okay, so you want to decide at this point whether you are going to be using battery cages like these ones, or you want to have them on the floor as the deep litter. But one thing you should know is that on deep litter you are going to be using a lot of space, but when you're using battery cages, you are saving a lot of space. I like the fact that here, as you can see, the houses are high. I think the beams, the poles should be about 12 feet tall, and after that we have the roof projecting upwards. So, and also the cages were perfectly installed. You can see how everything is just straight, and it slopes gently from the upper part to this other end. So in that way, the same thing happens to the pit too, where the feces, where the waste of the birds will be passed through and pushed out of the pen from time to time. So the same thing applies to that pit. It also slopes gently. This makes it very easy for the water to pass through these pipes that you are seeing, and on top of that there is this fogger installed on the cages. So when the house, in case there is excess heat in the house, you can just turn on the sprinkler and it supplies water around the farm in a form of mist, and that helps to cool down the temperature of the house and ensures that the birds are not subjected to heat stress. That takes us to the next step that you need to take if you want to start a successful 5,000 layer farm, and that is procuring your layers, especially when you have decided to go for the point of cage or point of lay hens of maybe about 12 weeks to 14-15 weeks. In this case, you have to be very careful, and you make sure that you select good stock from a good farm. So in this case, the management of the farm has really tried. The birds brought on board, they are just about 12 weeks old, and guess what? Their weight is impressive. Their weights are impressive. On the average, we have, I'm not going to tell you now, I'm going to show you everything so that you see it. So because they are 12 weeks, you will still see some of them falling off the cages. But if they were not even well managed by the farm where we got them from, you will see that a lot of them will be outside. But you can just see, out of about 5,000 hens, you can see about 4 or 5 of them outside. So that's not something to worry about. In the space of 1 week, they will eat and they will gain more weight. They will also get accustomed to the cages. They won't try to wander out of the cages. So every one of them should be confined to the cages. You have to procure your layers, make sure that they are healthy, you get them from the right source, make sure that they are disease free, and even if they have some traces of diseases, that's what you try to tackle in the first few days. So here I was trying to check the feces, and I saw that there is need to treat coccidiosis after a couple of days. So we just try to settle them in with multivitamins, and every other thing will be done. But generally their health is good. They look good. They don't have any issue of coryza or all those diseases that are life-threatening. Before the end of the video, I'll be showing you what they actually weigh. It's what you should expect from any 12 to 13 weeks pullets. I'm going to be showing you so that you see it for yourself. Alright, so let's move to the next step that you need to take. So after you have brought your hens in, you need to ensure that you give them the best nutrition possible. So this is not something you try to do after they come in. Your feed must be on ground. As a matter of fact, you should ensure that the feed is already on ground. Something that they would eat for about 2 weeks should be on ground before the birds come in. Don't bring them in on the promise that, okay, the feeds will be supplied the same day the birds are going to come in. It's so dangerous because you don't want them starving after that stress of transportation. You want to make sure you settle them in without any additional stress at all. So that's also important. You have to give them good nutrition, make sure that it is a balanced diet, and they'll just do well for you. And that takes us to the next step you need to take, which is staffing, employing the people who are going to run the farm, to manage the farm. Definitely you need some skilled workers, and then you need the casual workers who are going to be, carrying the feed, supplying it to the hens. Those ones too, you might have to teach them what to do from time to time before they get a hang of it. But you need your skilled workers like your animal scientists, your animal husbandry experts, and even a veterinary doctor to come in, maybe on contract, or if your farm is big enough, you can even give them full employment. You just need to ensure that both the skilled workers and the casual workers are available to keep the farm running. The skilled workers should be able to ensure that the health of the birds are taken care of, because for layers, all you need to do is to ensure that they are okay, that they are in perfect health. If you can do that, they are just going to be putting out eggs and eggs and eggs and eggs for you. So you need to take care of what they need for maintenance and what they need for production. That is, the feed they need for maintenance and for production, you give it to them, and also ensure that the environment is favorable for their survival. All right, so that's what you need staffing for. You also need other people like the security, the guard, the gate man, the receptionist. You have to be selling your eggs, so you need those who will be in charge of that and all that. So you need to make sure that you get trustworthy people to work with you. And the next thing you need to do is record keeping. It is important to maintain detailed records of the layers' health, the egg production, feed consumption, and other important metrics. This information is used to track the performance of the farm and make informed decisions. Probably you had a case of a disease outbreak and you used a particular medication some time ago. If that disease comes up again later in life, maybe after some 4, 6, 7 months, you'll find that disease again. That your record will help you to easily trace, okay, this disease happened some months ago. This was what we used to combat it, and it went away in few days. So record keeping is so important. It helps you to also track your progress, and you know whether things are going the way you want it. And the 7th step you need to take is marketing and sales. You see, once the eggs are produced, it is important to develop a marketing strategy and identify potential buyers. Of course, this may involve selling the eggs to supermarkets, wholesalers, or directly to customers. But in the spirit of helping you succeed, I need to tell you that it is important to separate the production part of the business from the sales part of the business. What do I mean when I say this? Try not to allow your customers to come close to your hens. It is bad. You don't know how many farms they have visited. For no reason at all should you allow them come close to your production pen. It is a taboo. Try not to do that. If they have to come to the farm at all to get your eggs, make sure that you have a shed close to the security post. So the workers should transfer the eggs there, supply it to them, and let them turn back from that gate house. It is a taboo to allow them come close to your production pen. This is one of the biosecurity measures you would have to take. That was affected here on the farm. The production part is separated from the entrance of the farm, and even signs are placed to inform visitors that this part of the farm is out of bound for visitors. Farm biosecurity is very important, and this is something you must do.